Hello. Hello, how are you? Your family strategist here. Again, my name is Praise Forward, and I'm super excited to be coming your way. Well, today we are looking at a very, very important aspect of marriage, which is finance. I'm sure you've heard people say, no finance, no romance. Okay. It's a critical saying that many people are used to. And one of the things that I know in 25 years of practice is the fact that um, lack of finance or inappropriately managed finances has destroyed more marriages than any other factor, and that includes infidelity. I have seen people who can stay with a cheating partner, but will never stay with someone who is financially reckless and financially irresponsible, right? And so you need to understand that when you don't have a grip on this matter, it can totally mess up your relationship. After all, the Bible even says the money answers all things, and it means all things. That majority of the problem people are having will totally disappear if they have enough money, or if they're not under financial pressure. Why do couples keep three jobs? Money. The bills come at you like touring. I mean, especially if you live in America or you live in the first world countries. The rate at which your bills jump at you, run at you, ambushes you, if you don't take yourself out of that and build an appropriate system that keeps you going, it can weigh you down. And it has wrecked a lot of marriages. You wonder why people run away from home, and they don't want to be with their partner. It's because they know there's going to be a request to pay certain bills. And so you have schools coming, and you know the education is not easy, especially if your child is going to go to college or university. You know what you have to pay. I mean, come to think of it, when they now have to study medicine, hey, you know what we're dealing with. So it can be very tough for couples. But I've come to let you know that there is a whole lot that is working for both of you, and the fact that you can actually make your life work. You know, what I say is that every time you see someone that is not as talented or as educated, as exposed as you, creating a solution or making his life work in an area where you're struggling, is proof that you have capacity to make your life work. So I want you to take a chill pause this very minute and think of someone you know who you think is not even as skilled, as exposed, does not have the relationships that you have, the networking that you have. But it looks like their life is turning out better. Their children are in school, they're building houses. Can you find one or two people? If you can type yes on Instagram and yes on YouTube. Yeah, if that is the reality, then I want you to wrap your arms around yourself and say to yourself, I believe that I'm going to make it true successfully. I believe I'm going to make it true successfully. Fantastic. Having said that, I want you to know today that your life is not over. For some of you, you've been talking to me, I've been sitting with you. Some of you are on the verge of leaving your relationship. Your life is not over, provided your spouse is willing. When you're dealing with a teachable spouse, then everything is possible. We say that everything is possible in the presence of rapport. And so I don't want you to give up on your marriage, especially if the person is willing to sit with us and, chart the way forward. And so the money talk, how couples can align finances without fights, is what we're discussing today. If you are yet to get the family combo, I don't know what you're waiting for. Go ahead, use the link, and get into the program now. I am having mind blowing, mind shifting testimonials, and I'm wondering what others are waiting for. You see, prevention, we say, is better than cure. I sit with people, I try to resolve their issues. They pay $10,000, $20,000 in strategy. Sometimes it's tough for them to pay. But then I often say to people, $150 saves you a lot of headache. If you think knowledge is expensive, then try ignorance. So, what exactly are you dealing with? Are you able to comfortably discuss finances with your spouse? Many of us are unable to, partly because maybe you married someone who is unreasonable. Yeah, you've got people who are unreasonable. I know a couple that every windfall they have, that's when one of them remembers that she's got to buy a latest shoe or he's got to buy the latest car, until the money finishes. Then they go back to square one. I've seen them through the cycles over and over. Once the money comes, they no longer cook. Right. And so when we talk about some people being irresponsible, that's exactly what I mean. It happens, right? That you can't even point at any asset you bought simply because one person is financially reckless. You see, if you have never discussed finances, today is the day to start. Many of us have endorsed or enabled an irresponsible partner simply because you keep picking bills, keep picking bills for them. Even when they fall short, you pick the bills. But you see, I learned a course called detachment. Detachment says sometimes you have to watch the people you love suffer without seeking to build them up, because you need to bring them to a wake-up call, or else they will be perpetually irresponsible. I have worked with a couple wherein the man never makes any money for 19, 20 years, does not make money, but is a leader in his church. And when it's time to raise money, he does not stand when they're asking people will give $100. He waits till he gets to $10,000, he goes to stand, and then he's banking on his wife to pay. In the name of God told me to step forward. How does God tell you to step forward when you have no means of paying? That's irresponsible movement. And so I need you to understand that some of you, I know it can be tough to bear the burden of children and an adult in the family, because everyone in the family, what we call the family economy, is premised on the fact that every eligible workforce within the family must be deployed for the economic benefits of the family. And so if husband is earning $10,000, wife is earning $10,000, your internally generated revenue as a family is $20,000. And you can plan around that. But if one person is earning 10,000 and the other person is earning zero, the person earning zero becomes a liability to the income or to the internally generated revenue. And so that's why some people are on welfare list. You cannot be an able-bodied person and be on the welfare list of your family. It's irresponsible. And so if you are listening to me, you do nothing, you've done nothing in the last 6 years, and it's been your wife or your husband alone bearing the burden, please get something done today. Because when you don't make money, what it means one thing. It means that there is no value you are adding to the world for which they are willing to pay you cash back in return. Now, if you have an agreement with your spouse not to work, well, it's not you I'm talking about, right? Because some people say, oh, don't work, and it's okay by some people. But I still worry that a human being is unwilling to work, or a human being is told not to work. I have met clients who are dying, whose husband told them not to work, and they are literally dying because they feel there's a lot more. So working is not even just about money. It's about there is something that happens to you when you feel needed and you feel you're adding value to society. So how do you align finances without fight? I know some of you are thinking, what is my take on joint account? I believe in the federation accounts of the family. That's the family system engineering model. I believe in internally generated revenue, the fact that every talent, every skill we have must be deployed as family, and we must promote both. And I believe that there must be budgetary allocation to the various portfolios in the family, right? So if you understand, because we have different temperament, if we keep joint account and someone, if we don't live on a budget, it's going to cause a fight. But I believe in contributing to the federation account. I believe in escrows that takes care of the future of the family. So what are my recommendations today? The first thing I think you need to do strategically, and I must say that, see, when it comes to family finance, my wife is actually the Don. I'm going to bring her someday and interview her. She's way better than me. As a matter of fact, full disclosure, she is the financial chief financial officer of the family. Yeah, she's our CFO. Because, see, all through the time she was born, from the time she's grown up in the family, finances was taught to them, modeled by her father. And so when it comes to account, is number one. I don't know anyone who is better. Right? So if you want to work with me on family finance, I'm going to push it to her. So the first thing you want to do is to create a family financial vision. What kind of economy do you want to have as a family? Some people are just okay to get by. Some people want to be stupendously wealthy. So your drive for someone who wants to be stupendously wealthy, especially if you have now crossed 40, it's going to be totally different from, when people are over 40 and they want to build wealth stupendously, and then they are worried about, because you see, if you are pursuing contracts, sometimes you need to leave where your family is and go stay in there and pursue till they approve. That takes some time, but you're taking a bullet for the family. There has to be that understanding, right? Sometimes I'm out in a meeting and then my wife is worried. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. You have to come back home. So should I abandon this deal and come back home? Come and sit with you, right? We have to understand that whatever we're doing it for the family. So you want to create a family financial vision. What is your family financial vision, right? What exactly do you need to make? What do you need to invest in? And what return on investment do you think you need annually that can service your lifestyle? You know that they say financial freedom is when the return on your investment or the return on your asset, on your investment, is enough to take care of all your living expenses. At that point, if it's predictable, then you're financially free. But how many people get to that level? Because what makes us poor are unbudgeted expense. Especially if you want to build you want to build wealth methodically. I'm not talking about people who steal, because some people steal. If you're very hardworking and you want to build, it can be very tough, but it's doable. You see, resources flow in the direction of projects, and I believe that absolutely. So create a family financial vision. You want to ask your spouse, if all our dreams comes to pass, what would they look like? What kind of family do you want to build financially, economically? What do you want to leave for our children? Where are we right now? Because one day we went to do a family audit, and trust me, we scored 0 because I was in charge, right? I wasn't smoking, I wasn't womanizing, I wasn't giving women money, but I was just benevolently stupid. And I'm using that word carefully. I didn't know what budgeting was, so everything that comes to mind, anybody that has a need, I serviced it. That's not how to live. But that was a wake-up call, and it changed everything for us. So create a family financial vision. Number 2, if you have debt and assets, you need to disclose. Now, I know that there are people who don't disclose their assets. You know why? Because they don't trust the other party to be responsible. You see, I tell people that marriages begin to crash when trust is out of the window. But for the interest of the person who is a spendthrift, sometimes people hide things. So that's a strategy. And that strategy sometimes is allowed, because I know people that once they know that you have money, they will put all kinds of pressure on you till the money finishes, till they finish spending it. The Bible says there's much treasure in the till of a wise man, but the foolish man spends it all. The foolish is the one who has no savings, nothing. It just lives as it comes. So you want to disclose debts. What are the liabilities you're bringing into this marriage? And then what are your assets? You want to disclose that, right? And then joint goals and personal budgets. To say, okay, this is the financial robustness we want. This is the economic state that we want for our family in 5 years, right? And then what is the personal budget that we need? What do we need to bring in annually? What do we need to spend? Can we create a budgetary allocation? I mean, my wife created a budgetary allocation for me, and it was tough, but that was where I learned financial responsibility, because they put a certain amount in my portfolio as the president of the family, and guess what? I finished spending it in 2 weeks. By the time I went to her to say, so that money is finished, she looked at me and she said, okay, where do you expect us to get it from? Do you want a loan? And it will come at interest rate. I mean, she was very stern about it, and that was very tough for me. Looked at her. I was the one who was making maybe like 70% of the money, but here, I mean, because we gave her control, I wanted to turn it to a rough play and say, no, we're not doing it anymore. But then I had to respect the system, because systems are not emotional. You know what? That month was the longest month. It was very tough for me, but by the second month, I mastered it. I learned how to be prudent because the pain of going through that 1 month was too much. So you need to create personal budgets so that people don't spend money anyhow. And let me say this, corruption is when you begin to send money to people that your spouse is not aware of. Except you married an enemy. Sometimes people actually marry an enemy. And what I mean by that is you married someone whose truth you don't know and who you can't tell the truth. Right? And so you can't tell them that, oh, you want to send money to your parent. I mean, that should be budgeted for. Right? And so you have people sending money to people that they can't be explained. Right? And when you want to send money, send from your personal amount, especially when it's not being captured within the budget, because you can't be getting loans to fund stupid lifestyle, as it were. I'm sorry, I don't use that word ordinarily, but some things that people, and it's not an insult, it's just a set of alignment with a behavior. The way some of us live, it's nothing but sheer stupidity. Your family is suffering, but you are good out there donating money, and then your children are out of school. How stupid can anyone behave? Then do monthly money reviews. Right? So you know that if you have budgeted that the income for this month is going to be $20,000 and then you are doing $3,000, you know there's a shortfall. You need to be brutally honest. Do we need to get a job? Do we need to look for someone else? Do we need to relocate? Do we need to move out? Is this house too big? These are conversations. See, there is no shame in having this conversation. But you see people, they're living in places bigger than them. They can afford it, but they are drowning in debt, collecting money, becoming financially embarrassed. Becoming a financial embarrassment to everyone. They borrowed money from everybody, including people, including mentees, including clients, people they should not even go to. Why? Because of financial recklessness. So do reviews. And lastly, don't just budget, invest. There's a system called the escrow system. Escrow is the amount that you send away from you. Your escrow account, you have no ATM, anything that goes out of your escrow account goes in the direction of your future. You can't loan it, you can't use it to treat yourself. It goes in the direction, it's the money for your future. It goes in the direction of assets. Because you will always have time. Strength is what you will not have. When you can move around, have you made enough investment that can feed you, that can take care of your family? And so these are the 5 strategic tips I think we should have conversation about. It's midweek. Tomorrow, it might be a good time to sit in and listen to this as a couple, or maybe this weekend. But it's a conversation you need to have. And trust me, if you have this conversation and you are brutally honest with yourself to say, where do we go from here? I believe when you set your sail, God will send the wind. I know your marriage can work. And I know your finances can receive the touch of God. But before I receive the touch of God, you have got to be honest and you've got to be responsible once again. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you to everyone on YouTube, everyone on Instagram. Well, I want you to know that I love you and I care so much about you. So if you want me to work with you, you can get on my calendar, on my bio on Instagram. I am Praise Fowowe. Or you can scan the code, Building an Intelligent Family, or you can get the Family Life Combo, which is selling so fast, and we're getting massive testimonies from people around the world. You can shoot me a mail, admin@praisefowowetech.com. I love you so much. I celebrate you, and I know your family will work. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.